Hey, I'm back. Welcome to my channel. You see the thumbnail, you see it. Yeah, I asked for it, so no trip, I got ya. Now, someone in the comment asked me, what did Naruto mean by I will find you someday? Now, what Naruto meant by that was Karama. Yeah. So, I'm gonna make it to where when Naruto goes back to Konoha, he will get Karama back, but in a slightly different way. So yeah, with that in mind, let's start the what if. All right, so Naruto he's heading king's to the king's palace, meeting up with Esdeath, and so him and Naruto they make it there, and Naruto he sees the king, and he notices it's a little boy, and he asks Esdeath, why is there a little kid on that throne? Then Esther just whispers back at him, "Oh, that's the king." And Naruto, his eyes go wide, like, "What? What do you mean that's the king?" Yeah, I know. Esther said. Anyway, uh, the Esther, she introduces Naruto and tells them that that's her son, or now is her son. And the king and the other dude, who I can't remember his name. Hold up. Okay, I'm back. The dude name is Honest for some reason. Now I couldn't remember his name for some reason because I probably didn't really care when I was watching that comic got killed. So anyway, so the Emperor and Honest was like, "What? You have a son? When?" And then before they can even ask any more questions, Esther stops them there, and she says, "Don't worry, he is adopted." And then Honest says, "Adopted? But he looks exactly like you." And Esther she says, "Yeah, I know, right? It's kind of weird." Not only that, he has this. As she asks Naruto, can you unbutton your shirt real quick? And Naruto's like, okay. As he shows the Emperor and Honest to see it's the same black tattoo that's on Esther's uh uh is on Naruto's chest, the same tattoo thing that she had in the show. And so, the king and Honest sees this, they're like, "Huh? You sure this boy isn't blood related?" And Esther, she says, "I'm sure he's not blood related." And they're like, "Okay, well, welcome to the Empire, I guess." Honest says, and Naruto says, "Thank you." And so, Esther and Naruto they leave out, and Esther says, "All right, Naruto, we're gonna start with your training." And Naruto he pumped because he ready, he finna get some training in. Now, what Naruto had expected for training, like his training regimen is worse than Tsunade's training soccer. And yeah, it's imagine that, but 10 times more hard. And so, she training Naruto, and this training regimen gets a little easier for him, and his ice powers get stronger and stronger and stronger. So, I ain't gonna get too much into that. Naruto, he is around 11 to 12 now. Because, I ain't got time to be talking or montaging all the shit that he be doing during his training. So at this point, Naruto, I would say he is about as good as Esdeath when it comes to her ice powers. And so, Naruto is probably the only person who can give Esdeath a real challenge at this point. So, yeah. Her and Naruto, one time they is training. And Naruto decides to try something new. And so, when he's training, I forgot what Esther said. Wait, hold it. Alright, I'm back. Sorry for that little cut. So anyway, Naruto, he tried something. So, him and Esdeath are training, and Esdeath goes a little harder on him. And so, Naruto, he does this. He puts his hands together and puts it towards his chest. And all he sees is time just slowing down until it just completely stops. And Naruto, he's thinking to himself, like, wait, what? How did I just stop time with ice? How did I do this? And Naruto, he doesn't think too much about it as the time just returns back because he wasn't really concentrating on that. It was kind of like something that just happened on instinct. So Naruto, he was asking Esther, like, what was that? And Esther was like, what do you mean? And Naruto, he explains to her how he put his hands together and some ice showed up and then everything just stopped. And Esther, she thinking to herself, like, whoa, he can do the ice time shit that she can do. I don't know what she's calling it. So, yeah. And so, they finish up their training, and Naruto, he pretty strong at this point. Yeah, he pretty strong. So, a year later, Naruto now is 12 years old. And now, at this point, Naruto is much stronger than Esdeath. Like, his ice manipulation is way more... Hold up. I'm back with that quick little stop. So Naruto, his ice manipulation is on a way higher scale on just plain versatility compared to Esdeath. And so, now that he is done doing his training stuff, so Naruto, he asks Esdeath a question. Can I, Mom? And Esdeath says, yeah, what? And Naruto just says this, can I go back to Konoha? And Esdeath, she thinking about this, and she says, sure, I guess, since that is originally where you were from. And so Naruto, he's like, alright, I'm gonna get my stuff so we can get packing. So, Esdeath and Naruto, they leave. So Naruto now, his ice manipulation is like crazy now. So this time, instead of walking, Naruto creates an ice dragon. Yeah. He creates an ice dragon to fly to Konoha. And so, they get to Konoha, and Esdeath just says straight up, Naruto, I know this is your home, and I know, like, you want to do stuff here, but always remember to, like, visit me. And Naruto's like, yeah, always. I'll always visit you. And, Esther, she smiled, and she's like, well, see ya, son. And Naruto's like, yeah. And so, they both go, Esther gets back on the ice dragon and she flies away. And Naruto, he walks back into the village. Now, remember, Naruto looks completely different. And Naruto is just thinking to himself, looks like he's still here. He's back. And when Naruto's saying this, he's talking about Kurama. Like he can sense Kurama's chakra is still like floating around and still in the essence of the area. And so, Naruto, he walking around and he's just walking around in the village because, everyone's just looking at him, but not with hatred, obviously, but like people just sense like this menacing aura coming off of him, kind of like how Leone was staring at Esdeath when she was just chilling. Yeah, that's pretty much how people are seeing Naruto at this point. And so Naruto, he's smiling because people fear him, and he like that type of shit. So Naruto, he just thinking to himself, I guess I could finish the academy, but first let me go visit someone. So Naruto, he goes to the Hokage office. And so Naruto, he goes to the Hokage office and he knocks on the door. And Hokage says, "Come in." And the Hokage, he looks up and he looks at Naruto. But it's kind of hard for him to tell it's Naruto since he looks completely different now. He no longer has yellow hair, he has blue hair. And his whisker marks are gone. And so Naruto, the Hokage is looking at him. And Hokage says, "Who are you?" And Naruto just says, "Wow, Gigi, I thought you would remember me." And Hiruzen just goes, "Wait, Naruto? That's you? What happened? People were saying that you got kidnapped. Or you were killed." And Naruto just says, "Yeah, people say a lot of things." "Well, I'm glad to see you back," the Hokage said. And Naruto, I should say this. Even though Esdeath acted like a sadist sometimes, or just act like a ruthless killer all the time, I mean, she was nice to her friends. That's pretty much like Naruto, though. Like, even though he might act mean, he's still extremely nice to his friends. Like, Shikamaru, Choji, and Iruka, and the Hokage, and and at the Ichiraku's, and his daughter and stuff. So, Naruto still remembers the people who are nice to him. And so, he's nice to them. And so, Naruto just says, "Hey, Gigi, can you put me back into can I take, like, the last test of the academy? Because I know it's the last day and stuff." And Hokage says, "Oh, yeah, sure. Just, you will start tomorrow." And Naruto's like, "Alright, cool." And Naruto says to the Hokage before he leaves up, "Hey, oh man, don't tell them who I am yet. I want to make a nice opening welcome." And the Hokage says, "Alright, cool. I understand what you mean." And so Naruto, he leaves out, and the Hokage has no, no, no. Naruto goes back to his apartment, and he sees how messy of a person he was before. But no, he ain't like that now. So Naruto, he starts to clean up his house, and so it's at a presentable thing rather than just being messy and dirty everywhere. And so it's the next day, and Naruto, he leaves out and he goes to the academy. Now Naruto, he's at the academy, but he goes there early, so he is the first person there. And so he sits down, and Iruka shows up, and he's thinking to himself, "Who is this kid? Oh well, it doesn't matter. It's the last day." And so a little bit later, everyone show up, and they're just seeing this blue-haired kid just sitting there chilling, and they're wondering, who is that? The girls they looking at him, even though Hinata, she getting a little jealous. I mean, Hinata still knows it's Naruto, but she can just sense it's him. So uh, so class starts, and Aruka says, "All right, so the last day of the academy," and he does the usual stuff. So since the last day, Naruto don't really have to. I mean, I guess he displays a little bit of his stuff, ice clones, shit like that. Just academy shit that is so simple. And so it's the teams picking, and so Aruka Team 7, and they call out Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno, and Naruto Uzumaki, and everyone's looking around like Naruto isn't here, and then the kid with the blue hair raises his hand. Yeah, that's me, Naruto Uzumaki, and everyone they're looking like, what the fuck? Ain't no way that's Naruto. Ain't no way. Nah. Stop the cat. Ain't no way in hell that's Naruto. And Naruto, he just looking at them like, what? You guys have a problem? And Naruto just sends off a little bit of his bloodlust, which just shuts everybody the hell up. It even shuts Aruka up and Mizuki. Because, he there. And so, everyone get their teams set up. Everyone leaving out, already out, except for, Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke. And, Naruto and Sasuke are just chilling while Sakura's just being Sakura, yelling like, where the hell is he? And, Naruto, he's thinking the same thing, like, where is he? But, he ain't gonna yell about it. And so, they waiting a little longer, like 2 more hours later. And so, 2 more hours later, and Kakashi shows up. Kakashi, he looks at them, and he looks at Naruto. And he says, oh, so that's Naruto. I wonder, he looks strong. I wonder what he can do. And so, him, so he just says, everyone, all right, come up to the roof. And so, they get to the roof. And, everyone, he just asks everyone, what is y'all goals, dreams, admirations, likes, dislikes, shit like that. And so, Sakura's the same, Sasuke's the same, and Naruto's, his a little different. He doesn't really care about anything. Like, how do I want to explain this? Like, he just wants to be a powerful person. That's pretty much it. And he likes training. Because, who winning at that point? Hold up. I'm back. Sorry with that. Had to burp. And so, Naruto, he's like, I don't really hate a lot of things, nor do I really like a lot of things. I guess I'm just neutral about a lot of stuff. And Kakashi's like, alright, so tomorrow we're going to be having a test. Don't eat or you puke. And so, yeah, he sunshines away. And so, Sasuke, he hasn't really kept his, like, he just looking at Naruto like, he just looking like, I know this guy is strong, but is this really Naruto, though? That's all he's just thinking to himself. He's like, is this really Naruto? Like, he just seems so different. And so, And Sasuke just asked him straight up, "Are you really Naruto?" And and Naruto looks at him like, "Yeah, I am." And Sasuke says, "Well, fight me." And Naruto goes, "What?" And Sasuke says, "Yeah, fight me. I want to see how strong you are, Naruto." And so, Naruto and Sasuke get into a fighting stance, and they fight. And without hesitation, literally, Naruto just speed blitzes Sasuke, just literally touching him on his shoulder, and just says, "I win." And Sasuke, before he can get any words out of his mouth, he already froze, gone, froze. And Sakura, she sees this like, "What the hell? The fuck just happened?" And Naruto says, "Oh, I just froze him." And Sakura just thinking, like, "Well, can you unfreeze him?" And Naruto says, "No." And Sakura's like, "Why?" "Because I like to see him like that, just defenseless and shit." And, Sakura's like, "You better do it now or else." And Naruto, he just looking at her like, "Bitch, who are you to argue or argue against me?" And so, she tries to punch him. Tries. As he just kicks her off the roof. Yeah. And he didn't do it to where she'll get hurt. He just did it to scare her. Just kicked her off the roof. Now, they weren't that high up, so she didn't hit the ground that hard, but it was still hard at the same time. So, she hurt. And so, Naruto, before he leaves, he's like, just defrosted Sasuke as he leaves. And so, they, Naruto goes home, and it's the next day. Now, Naruto, he goes to Ichiraku's and gets himself some ramen. And while he's there, he sees Kakashi there. Or not necessarily there, but he sees Kakashi near a book stand. Because, I guess Ichiraku's businesses and a lot of businesses in Konoha are just kind of close to each other. And so, Naruto, while eating ramen, he's like, "Hey, Kakashi." And Kakashi looks back like, "Oh, Naruto. Wait, aren't you supposed to be at the training ground?" And Naruto just says, "Well, aren't you?" And Kakashi's like, "Fair point." And so, Naruto and Kakashi, they talking. And so Kakashi says, "Alright, but before I go, I need to visit somewhere." And Naruto's like, "Alright." And so, "I'll meet you at the training ground." And Kakashi says, "Yeah." So, they both go they separate ways. And Naruto, he walked into the training ground. And, Sakura yelling, "You're late." And Naruto's like, "So?" And so, why does it even matter that I'm late? Kakashi's gonna be late, so why show up so early? And Sasuke just says, "Fair point." And so, they waiting. And about like 30 minutes later, Kakashi shows up. And Kakashi just says, "Hey." And Sakura just yells out, "You're late." And Kakashi's like, "Bitch, you know I'll be late. So why the hell you here so early?" Hold up. And so, Sakura, she's like, "Whatever." And so Kakashi's like, "Alright, let's start the test. This test is a bell test." And, Sakura, she points out the fact that there are only two bells. And, and Kakashi's like, "Bitch, if you don't let me finish talking." And so Kakashi, he explains the rules. Two bells, which means two of y'all are going to get the bells and one of y'all going to be sent back. And so, everyone is shocked except for Naruto. because he gets to show off, he gets to display some of his abilities. So yeah, and so Kakashi says begin, and so Sakura and Sasuke, they go to hide while Naruto is still standing there, and Kakashi looks at Naruto like, oh, so you're gonna be the first one up, huh? And Naruto says, yeah, I'm gonna enjoy this fight. Let's see if you can top my mom. And Kakashi says, what? And before he could even do anything, he just feels a hard punch, like he just feels his gut just destroyed. And he looks down to see Naruto there, just punching, just a fist in his stomach. And he just like, what the fuck? Alright, I need to take this kid more serious. Oh god, that punch broke like a few ribs. Alright, so Kakashi, him and Naruto go into a Tai Jutsu battle. And so Kakashi is easily already getting overwhelmed by Naruto. And so Kakashi, he backs up a few feet and he pulls up his Sharingan. And he gets back into the fight, and not Kakashi, Sasuke, he's thinking, wait, he's not an Uchiha, so how does he have the Sharingan? I gotta ask him later. So Naruto and Kakashi are joining or getting some good blows in. Naruto, he getting some good blows in. Kakashi, he getting some good blows in. And so Sasuke, he's like, ooh, this shit kind of spicy. Why don't I add a little bit of flames to this fight? Because Naruto, he using ice everywhere. And so Naruto just yells out, hey Sasuke, why don't you try to jump in? And Sasuke, he's like, shit, no problem. And so Sasuke, he jumps in. And so now it's just pretty much of a display of Kakashi having to dodge just attacks from both fire and ice. Because, Sasuke, he's spamming the fireball jutsu, and Naruto, he using his ice powers. And so Naruto and Sasuke back up a bit. And so do Kakashi. Kakashi, he breathing heavy. Sasuke, he breathing heavy. And Naruto, he sweating a bit, but none too much. And so Naruto just says, alright, this should end this right here. I'm gonna end this fight. And Kakashi's like, what? Don't get too cocky. And before he could finish that, Naruto was running at him at full speed. And this is a version of a Rasengan that Naruto created while training with Esdeath. It's basically like him forming ice, but it's not going to form into a ball. It's kind of like just going to stick on his hands, and then when he rushes at you, and when he touches you, you freeze instantly. So yeah, and so Naruto, he freezes Kakashi and takes the bells. And Kakashi's like, alright, fine, yeah, win. And so Naruto, he gets the ice off of Kakashi. And so Kakashi says, so Naruto, what are you gonna do with those two bells? And Naruto just says, simple, as he throws one of the bells to Sasuke and Sakura, even though she ain't do nothing. And so, and Kakashi's like, well, why'd you do that? And Naruto says, simple, I knew the whole point of this test was teamwork. And Kakashi's eyes go wide and like, you knew? And Naruto's like, of course I knew. Well, what type of Genin team only has two? What type of team only has two Genin and one Jonin instructor? And Kakashi, he like, true. And so Naruto and Kakashi like, all right, I guess y'all pass. And so He gives the whole speech, and those who leave their, those who abandon the rules are scum, but those who abandon their friends are worse than scum. That inspirational speech that didn't really trade off that much into Shippuden, but whatever. So, Naruto and Sasuke and Sakura go on a few D rank missions, which I ain't gotta talk about that because they're D rank missions. And in between those missions, Sasuke just asked Naruto straight up, like, "Can you train me?" And Naruto, he like, "Sure, but don't expect it to be easy." And Sasuke's like, "All right." And so they training, and Naruto get Sasuke a little bit more strength. Like, he's stronger, a little bit stronger than his. No, wait, no. He's just a little bit stronger. Like, when it comes to the Tazma mission, he's just going to be 1.5 times stronger. Yeah. And so, they finish up the D-rank missions. And so, they go back to Hiruzen, and Naruto just said straight up, "Hey, this fucking D-rank bullshit ain't gonna cut it." And Sasuke, he agreeing. And so, and Hiruzen like, "Alright. I see that you're way more powerful than the average Genin." And Naruto, he's like, "Well, obviously, shit." And so, he calls out Tazuna. And, Tazuna, he come out. And, he just looking at the three. And he's like, Like, he senses that, Sasuke strong, Naruto strong, Kakashi strong. But Sakura, not that much. So he starts roasting Sakura. And so, Sakura, she getting pissed. But Kakashi, like, chill. And so, they start the mission. And so, with Naruto and Kakashi and them, they start the mission. They walking through the mist. And Naruto notices a puddle. He notices a puddle. And he taps Sasuke on the shoulder like, "Hey, that puddle over there, that's a genjutsu, so be ready in case something happens." Sasuke, he like, "I bet." And Kakashi, he sees Naruto and Sasuke prepare for the genjutsu that's about to dispel, and just show up. Have some people show up. And so, Naruto, Sasuke, they continue walking until the Jonin, the Chunin brothers with the brothers shit. So they show up, and instantly Naruto, Sasuke take care of both of them, and Naruto, he freezes them both up, and so Kakashi shows up and just interrogates them, and they find out that Tazuna was lying about the mission or the mission details. Rather than it just being a protect mission, it is instead of it being a protect C rank mission, it's more protect, like B to A rank. And so Naruto and Sasuke, they're like, and Kakashi, he's like, "Well, since you lied about the mission details, we gotta go back. This didn't fit the criteria of our jobs." And Naruto and Sasuke, they're like, "Hell nah. Ain't no way in hell we missing out on this shit. I mean, I would rather have this mission than go back to them booty ass, trash ass D rank missions." And so, they continue on the mission. And so, the mist starts to get a little foggy. And so Sakura asks Tazuna, "Is it always this misty around here?" And so, Tasman, he explains that, yeah, the land of mist is usually very misty, or compared to most villages where mist is just slightly there, like, well, here is just pretty much like a foggy place. And so, as they walk in, Kakashi yells, "Duck!" As they all duck, and they just see a blade fly out and get stuck in the tree. As they all look up and they see a guy standing on it. Uh, Zabuza. And so I'm gonna end it right there. Yeah, I feel like that's a good point to end it off on. It's already 35 minutes. God damn. Anyway, this is the end. Comment down below. Leave a like. Tell me what you enjoy the most. And so, yeah, this is the part of the. This is like what? My third time doing this without script. So, yeah, comment down below. Tell me if you like it or not. And so, until next time, I'm out. Peace.